My sister accused me of stealing family heirlooms to grab the entire inheritance. Her plan was flawless until I found out the thief was actually her lover. And that was only the beginning. What happened next was something they never saw coming. But let's start from the beginning. Okay, picture this. My name's Jake. I'm 27, and for most of my life, I thought my older sister Sam was someone I could rely on. Sure, she's 3 years older and has always had this "I'm always right" attitude. But overall, we got along. Especially after our parents died. We stuck together. Or at least that's what I thought. So imagine my shock when she accused me of stealing our family heirlooms. And not just any random trinkets, but our mother's ring and our father's antique watch. Man, at first I honestly thought it was some kind of bad joke. Who in their right mind would even think that? But no, she was serious. Dead serious. So much so that she made the accusation in front of the entire family, including our lawyers. That's when I realized this wasn't some random outburst. This was a calculated move. She was actually trying to make me the prime suspect. And you know what the craziest part was? Everyone sat there looking at me like I was some kind of criminal mastermind. I looked at Sam, and there wasn't a shred of doubt in her eyes. That was the moment I realized my own sister was capable of something truly devious. After Sam threw out her accusations, I knew this wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment thing. She started acting like she was in some low-budget soap opera, claiming that since I stole the heirlooms, our family's assets needed to be reassessed, and everything should go to her. That's when I understood. This wasn't an emotional outburst. It was a well-thought-out scheme. Sam wasn't playing around. Her confidence threw me off. She looked at me like a winner eyeing the loser, as if she'd already signed all the paperwork and transferred all the money into her account. But the more I thought about it, the less it made sense. Like, why was she so sure she'd win? Then, a weird moment came back to me. Something I'd brushed off at the time, but now it started to click. A few days before the heirlooms disappeared, I saw Sam with some guy. He looked shady. Leather jacket, dark sunglasses, the whole "I'm wearing black and I don't care" vibe. They met around the corner from our house, and I saw him hand her an envelope. At the time, I thought it was just some personal thing. New friends, new life, whatever. But now, that envelope started to look like a key piece of her plan. What was in that envelope, Sam? A manual on how to frame your brother? That thought hit me, and I realized this was about more than just the heirlooms. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. After Sam hurled her accusations at me, I started paying attention to every move she made. It was like she'd become a different person overnight. We used to talk about everything, but now, every time I tried to bring up the heirlooms, she'd change the subject. Stuff like, "Oh, Jake, let's talk about dinner instead," or, "You should really take better care of yourself." Come on, Sam, seriously? Like I'm going to forget about the watch and the ring just because you're talking about salad. Something was definitely off, and I knew it. That's when I remembered the guy I'd seen a few days ago. There was no way this guy was just some random acquaintance. I decided to dig deeper and figure out who he was. After a few coincidental run-ins at a local cafe, I realized they were meeting regularly. Every time they had their little chats in a quiet corner, something weird would happen the next day. Documents, money, small items would disappear. Dude, it felt like I was in some kind of mystery game with invisible NPCs where every move triggered another event. My suspicion grew that these weren't just random disappearances. Their meetings were too frequent, and Sam started avoiding me like I was carrying the plague. I began to suspect this guy wasn't just a friend. It looked like a carefully thought-out plan, one that I was somehow tangled up in. They were definitely hiding something, and I was getting closer to uncovering their little scheme, but I still didn't have enough proof. When I got home after that meeting with Tom, I was buzzing. The adrenaline was through the roof because now I had everything I needed to make sure Sam ended up in deep. Well, you get the idea. But I didn't want to act immediately. If I learned anything from their sneaky games, it was to keep my cards hidden until the last moment. I decided to wait and give them a little more rope to hang themselves with. The first thing I did was set up a hidden camera in my house. It's not that hard nowadays. I ordered something like a toy with a built-in camera online and placed it on a shelf where no one would notice. I was curious to see if they'd keep making moves. My instincts didn't fail me. A few days later, Tom showed up at my door, acting like we were old friends. He went straight to the point. "Jake, listen, let's settle this like men. I get that you want your share, but how about a little compensation? Sam gets what she wants, and you walk away with some money and stay out of this." "Oh, sure, buddy. I've just been dreaming of selling off my inheritance for peanuts and disappearing into the sunset." He started throwing out numbers like it was some kind of game. I sat there, pretending to be interested, but in reality, the camera was recording everything. The whole time I kept thinking, how did they ever think this would work? Tom was so confident that I'd fall for his bribe. He was talking with such enthusiasm that I actually started to enjoy the moment a little. After recording the entire conversation, I realized I had everything I needed to go to the lawyer and tear their plan apart. The next morning, I headed to our family lawyer's office, feeling like I had hit the jackpot. Dude, you should have seen his face when we watched that recording. He was sitting across from me, spinning his pen, and as soon as Tom started offering me money to keep quiet, the lawyer froze in his seat. "This isn't just some inheritance dispute, Jake," he said after watching the whole video. "This is fraud, and Sam and Tom have gone way too far. We can easily build a case against them." Honestly, I was a bit stunned. I had come in thinking I'd just show the lawyer the video, and that would be it. But it turned out this wasn't just a family matter. This was a serious legal issue that could land both of them in jail. Sam, with her dirty little schemes, had no idea what she'd gotten herself into. The lawyer quickly got to work, putting together a plan. He was like a chess player, but instead of pieces, he had documents and legal terms. We were preparing the paperwork, gathering evidence, and building a legal strategy. I barely had time to process how serious this had become. Meanwhile, Sam was probably feeling confident that her plan was working. She was still spreading lies about how I'd stolen the heirlooms, as if she was preparing for the final blow. But now I had my own ace up my sleeve. While she was inflating this ridiculous lie, the lawyer and I were quietly preparing a court case, step by step. And honestly, I started to enjoy the process. The big day arrived. Sam, in her usual grand fashion, had organized a huge family gathering, like she was about to present me with the Thieving Brother of the Year award. She brought everyone, relatives, lawyers, even some mutual friends. You know, the kind of crowd you need to applaud when she officially announces that I'd stolen the family heirlooms. I sat off to the side, trying not to reveal my hand too soon. Her overconfidence was off the charts. She started her speech, fully convinced she had already won. "Dear family," she began, "I'm here to shed light on a terrible truth. Jake, my younger brother, has stolen our family heirlooms." And that's when I knew it was time. I stood up, cutting her off mid-sentence, and said, "Before you continue, Sam, I have something that you and everyone else here needs to see." Then I played the video. Man, I wish you could have seen their faces. On screen, Tom spilled everything, confessing how he and Sam had planned to frame me so she could take the entire inheritance. The room went dead silent. So quiet, you could have cut the tension with a knife. Sam went pale as a sheet. She didn't even try to defend herself. She just froze, not knowing what to say. And Tom, that idiot, tried to pretend he wasn't even there and made a pathetic attempt to sneak out of the room. But it was too late. Everyone in the room saw the truth. Everyone realized that this scam was their dirty little game. I didn't even need to add anything else. Her plan collapsed right before her eyes, and in that moment I knew. It was game over. After the video did its job, Sam fell from the pedestal she'd been building for herself for so long. In an instant, she went from being the super responsible older sister to someone the entire family turned their backs on. The friends who had always supported her at family gatherings suddenly started looking at her like she was a criminal, which, to be fair, she was. The reputation she'd carefully nurtured for years crumbled in a matter of seconds. At first, she tried to defend herself, saying, "This is a misunderstanding," or, "Tom did it all by himself." But it was clear to everyone. She had been the mastermind behind this whole stupid plot. And Tom? Oh, that guy ended up in even deeper trouble. Turns out, there was already a fraud case against him. So after the video became undeniable evidence, he was immediately cuffed and taken away. Long story short, Tom went where people like him belong, behind bars. And Sam? Well, the legal system didn't let her off the hook either. She was charged with conspiracy to commit fraud. Everything she had, her money, her reputation, her influence, vanished as if it had never existed. And the most painful part? The family that had always supported her walked away without even saying goodbye. And me? Honestly, I didn't feel sorry. Yeah, I could have told myself, maybe I could have stopped this. Maybe I should have seen the signs earlier. But no. The truth is, Sam made her own choices. This was her path. And me? I just decided to leave it all behind. I packed my things and left town. That house, that place, it all became a symbol of the drama and lies I needed to escape. I set out to find something new. Sometimes when I look back, I think, wow, life really throws some wild plot twists at you. But now, I was free from all that drama. And you know what? It was the best decision I ever made.